Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm back with another recap of Blueface and Chrisean's Crazy in Love Season 2, Episode 4, Just Tell Me. So, as if y'all keeping up with the show, y'all already know, they went to the doctor and they got like the paternity test done and to see how far along she was. So, she's 20 weeks in, I think, 5 days. So, after leaving the appointment, Chrisean's mom and her, they got into it, and she was talking about, I just gotta tell him, and they were going back and forth. So eventually Tessa had to take the mom and walk off one way, and Blueface walked to his car, and Marsh and Chrisean walked to the car as well. So basically, Chrisean's mom was basically, she's against abortion. So she got 12 kids. So you can already know she's pro-life. And at this point, Tessa was just trying to tell her, like, listen, I understand that's what you're feeling and how you go about it. You got 12 kids, but she's grown. She's gonna make her own decisions. So even though you say what you're gonna say, that's just not what she wants to hear right now. So she's gonna do what she wanna do, but I understand where you're coming from. And then at that point, that was just it. So Blueface, Chrisean, and Marsh and the dog, they got in his car and left. They had to do a show, so they went to this high school and they performed their songs. They both got active with the kids in the bleachers and whatnot like that. That was a good event and stuff like that. After that, later on that night, they was hosting a family dinner. All of their family was supposed to come. Blueface was supposed to come, and his mom showed up, but they was calling him to see where he was at, and to no avail. He didn't answer his phone for nobody. So his mom was standing outside for over an hour. I guess they was all supposed to be in cahoots with each other, but that's just not happening. So Karissa ended up going back home. And then Chrisean and her family got into it. They basically talked about what happened with Tifa and Chrisean, about the whole incident, about why they like at odds against each other. So they're supposed to be so close, but right now it's just not going that way. So the stepdad stepped in and tried to give his words of advice to see where things lead. And it was just to no avail. At one point, Tessa was like, I'm not talking about this. Like, I said what I'm going to say. You're just going to keep arguing about the same thing. And it's just not going to go that way. So basically, Chrisean felt disrespected by Tifa, and Tifa felt the same way. But at the same time, the mom tried to tell her, like, I understand she's your baby sis, but she's not a baby anymore. She's still your little sister, but she's now grown. So that just went left. The back and forth with the arguing. Eventually, Tessa got up from the table and left. Chrisean got up from the table and left. Everybody ended up going outside. At this point, Tifa was sitting next to Chrisean. Everybody just came out to the back. They was just trying to talk about the situation. But at the same time, the dad was like, listen, let's just talk about something else. So then they started talking about how the doctor's appointment went. Tifa asked how the doctor's appointment went. And they started getting into that. And then they went back to the whole argument and stuff like that. To no avail. It seemed that they squashed it, but at the same time, I still feel like there's some tension in the air, but who knows? Hopefully they'll get it together. So it's now like the next day. Chrisean ended up making Jonathan a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, and she was basically telling him how the stuff went last night. He was like, yeah, I told my mom not to come. I told her I wasn't coming, so she still pulled up anyway. And at this point, Chrisean was like, yeah, I understand that. Again, tried to talk to her, whatever. And I also told her to get out anyway. So then I was also trying to get rid of my family that was there. So it was like, it was a lot going on. So I totally understand it. So after that day, I think they just had plans to, you know, do a lie detector test. So they get their stuff ready, they feed the dogs and whatnot. And then they head to the polygraph place. And the guy name was John, so he's like, yeah, that's my name too. So he sets Blueface up first and Chrisean to like answer the question. Say it goes off based off of your blood, sweat, and movement. So try to be still when you answer yes or no questions. So Blueface went first. Chrisean was asking him some questions. So far, to my understanding, it seems as if Blueface really does want a family with Chrisean. He really does love her. And yeah, that was it. But when it came time for Chrisean to do her part, she was all giddy, and she couldn't stop moving. So she was asking him questions, but you know, it never got to the part where the polygrapher was asking them questions. Like, he was supposed to answer them questions, but I guess they were gonna do that part off camera to make sure it was more serious. So Blueface asked her questions about the cheating and if she in love with him. It said that she was false when she cheated, but she was also laughing and moving, so it was kind of like inconclusive, but at the same time, she failed. So that was another situation. So after that, that was it. So for next week's episode, it shows that they got into an argument behind that too. So it's like, dang, they ain't gonna never catch a break. And he was like, listen, you need to get a piece of this humble pie. She was like, what humble pie? It was just like, just when they thought things were, sorry, just when they thought things was going to go on one accord, it just started going left. And that's just not what I was expecting to happen. So they got into an argument behind that. Hopefully they can get it together. But it's like, he need to take into consideration that anything that he says to her is going to set her off, because she's now 2 times more emotional than she would have been if she not been with a child. That's just one thing, like, guys need to understand. Like, any little thing can set a woman off when they're pregnant, because it's not just about them no more. It's about the life they're carrying. So, excuse me, I guess he don't see it as a problem like that. But, you know, hopefully they'll get on one accord again, and you know, they'd be a little bit cool and like in the middle, but we'll see. So with that being said, I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.